Welcome to Ed's Cookery. Today I'm going to show you how to care for and season a new cutting board and why it's important to complete this process. We'll be going over its simple two-step seasoning process. Step 1 is oiling your board and step 2 is waxing your board. This is an example of the worst case scenario. This board has never been seasoned and mold has grown due to moisture and improper drying. You can see here it's pretty gross. The water droplet test is a simple way to demonstrate how much moisture your board can absorb. This is a brand new board that's never been seasoned. As you can see, it essentially soaks up the water droplets, whereas a seasoned board will cause the water to bead off easily. We'll perform the same test after we complete step 2 of the seasoning process. By seasoning your board, you create a protective barrier to keep it looking clean, great, and sanitary. To get started, pour a generous amount of your chosen food-safe oil onto the board and evenly wipe it across all surfaces with a clean towel. Oil seeps into the porous wood and prevents other liquids from entering the board. On the topic of oil, it's important to avoid using olive or vegetable oil, as they can spoil and turn rancid. This can impart funky flavors onto your food. I recommend using a food-safe mineral oil to season the board. You should be able to find this in the kitchen aisle in your local department store. I'm from Canada, so I got this bottle at Canadian Tire. Don't worry if it may look like there's a thick layer of oil. Your board will soak it right up. After your first layer, let your board rest for about 5 minutes, and you'll notice all the oil has been absorbed. Repeat this process as many times as you see the oil being soaked up. Make sure you get into all those nooks and crannies. You want to build a great foundation so that the seasoning will last much longer. You'll be able to spend more time cooking and less time on maintenance. After your final layer, wipe it as dry as you can and then let it dry overnight. It's important to allow for maximum airflow when letting your board dry. I find propping the board up on a rack is the best way to allow that to happen. Once your board has dried overnight or for several hours, use a lint-free cloth to buff the wax into the wood in a circular pattern, forming a thin coat. While oil soaks into the wood, wax is a physical barrier on the surface of the wood that protects against moisture. Board wax is a mixture of food-safe wax and oil with water-repelling properties. Repeat over the entire surface of the board, and especially the sides. Remember, get all those nooks and crannies. After all that hard work, congratulate yourself. You are now the owner of a shiny, beautiful, and most importantly, well-seasoned wood cutting board. Do you remember that water droplet test earlier? Let's try it again and demonstrate the protective seasoning. As you can see, a seasoned board will allow the water to bead off easily, keeping the board clean and dry. So how often should you season your board? Over time, its water-repellent qualities will start to diminish as you wash and clean your board. The same water droplet test will tell you when it's time to oil and wax again. Follow this two-step process to keep your wood cutting boards in pristine condition for years to come. Well, folks, that's all. Comment below if you have any other tips for maintaining your cutting board. I'm always happy to expand my knowledge. Cheers, until next time.